up for no reason. That's normal, right?
Wait, again? Like the police or like you specifically?
Yeah, no. 2 BCSO got shot down when cars were trying to come in and get a 95 we had in custody.
Oh no.
Then it went up to the oil fields. More officers got shot down.
Oh my god.
We got two 95s out of it.
Well, that's good. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the outcome, I guess.
Yeah. It's a start, right?
Yeah. As do you know what happened yesterday, by the way? I don't think we had a chance to chat.
Which portion?
Oh god. Yeah, yesterday was fucking awful.
Yeah.
It was like thing after thing after thing after thing. I'll just kind of give like high level because I'm sure been filled in on
What's the
some
part that you want to talk about? Like, I mean, I was on duty.
Oh, it goes all the way back to like 3 p.m. Like the ram by oh boy. Were you on duty during the Zancudo situation?
Yes, at the very end. Yep,
Oh
I came
shit.
At the end of that. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So I remember that.
So apparently
And that was from a Polito bank.
Yeah. So apparently, now this is Ventura's words. Though I tend to believe him on this, is that the shootout was a consequence of Jelly Bean. How do I put this? Pitting the individuals like it was a gang war.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then after that was another shootout in which there was the two gangs over the security truck.
Yeah, I was around for that.
Ventura gives me a call, and he was pretty upset with Jellybean at that point. I had to let him know that, you know, because apparently he was one of a few officers who decided, and I called this out on radio, there was a bunch of 95s that we had shot down at the courthouse, and everyone left except for myself. And then we called some people back. And I think as a consequence of that, he witnessed Jellybean and some others allow their 95s to get picked up and taken. I did let him know that I don't think, you know, we need to know who all of them are.
Yeah, that's a bit, you can't just point at a PPO over and over.
Yeah, he's turning into a scapegoat, if I'm gonna be honest. And there's I think I have a pretty balanced opinion on this. Is like, I don't think he's anywhere competent for a PPO. I said as much to Forte. I gave him a whole like report on it and what he needed to do before he was ready for FTO. He got promoted anyways out of shift. He's a shift 1 cadet. He was promoted because, I hate to say it, but he shoots and drives well. That was the explanation that was given to me.
That's not good to hear.
Nope. So I was pretty pissed at the time, right? Because it's kind of like, all right, fuck me then. I guess, you know, I'm asked to, you know, review this guy and give him a final. I give a final and he gets promoted anyways, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get in my feels, but it's kind of one of those like, listen, I told you so. You know? But even then,
I thought Radek promoted him.
he did. Yes.
Okay.
That was his statement. Which, but you know, not the end of the world, right? He was supposed to be monitored, but I highlight that mostly because despite that, he cannot be the scapegoat, because even as a PPO, and I think we've sort of discussed this a bit about like the DAP conversation a while back, like 2-3 days ago, is yeah, he's gonna fuck up. What do we expect? He doesn't know any better, right?
You're right.
So inherently, if he is being, so he was given scene lead. So after Ventura said all this, I got on radio. I'm like, who's the scene lead? and it got put onto Jelly Bean. And I sat back for a moment, a little annoyed, because I'm like, we got like 30 officers on duty, and we're trying to give a PPO this scene. Like, come on, guys. That doesn't make any sense. So that's when I believe I asked for I assigned Miller to it, right? I said, Miller, you're going to work with JB on it, right? And then the whole shit show happened where apparently, there was a decision to raid Future. In the midst of that, I'm getting lip from a BCSO officer who had called out on radio that they're about to do a felony stop with like 3 available officers while the rest of them are dealing with an OIS and the raid happening. And then as I'm explaining to him, like, listen, brother, I know you want to do a felony stop and you think 3's enough, but if they shoot you, it's going to be a shit show. And it turned into an argument on radio. I told him to get the fuck to Mission Row PD. I didn't have time for that. I'm not having a full-blown argument over the radio. And as that happens, the 13 alphas pop off down on the south side. And I'm holding and ripping my hair out. And as I'm trying to figure this out, I go back into the cells, having, gotten off the phone, and Future Hendrix has already been sent.
Right. So I had a chat with Jelly Bean and a couple of other people today when I got on duty. Well, they all came to me. Jared's a little distraught. He's been told by Shift 1 that he is not allowed to be on duty in any other shift one. He is now back at Cadet, and he's not allowed to ride with anyone but an FTO. So he's a bit discouraged. I just hope that they actually retrain the areas that need to be retrained rather than just shoving him as Cadet again.
Agreed. 1000%. And this is kind of what I was worried about originally, because I'm like, we're setting him up to fail and destroying his confidence. Because it's like, if we sit there all day and we're like, oh yeah, you're so good because I saw you shoot someone in the head, and then you promote him, and then he very obviously ends up failing, and then we have to do this. What's going to happen to his morale, right?
So we in PNT, there are certain procedures, there are certain checklists. I don't see that for Jared. I don't see FTOs doing his evaluation.
Yeah.
I don't see any of that. It's like it was all just word of mouth and they just let him through. I don't see any evaluation from Cadet to PPO at all.
I don't think there was, Ruby. That's the thing is, I had just started coming around the time Jared showed up, and at the time I'd offered to do very directed FTO work, and what I mean by that is, I just, if I'm going to be honest, I just have too much on my plate for reasons. To give the attention necessary to train regularly. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. I was asked, like, hey, we need you to get this guy, like, he's doing this and doing that. I need you to look up. First thing I noticed is he wasn't showing up during his shift, like, ever. He was skipping. He wasn't, he had other things going on, et cetera, and when he was coming on duty, he was primarily because he's a fun guy to be around, let's put it that way.
Yeah, good personality, right?
Yeah. He was getting picked up on ride-alongs effectively. And so that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, we need an FTO there because, yeah, he's going to be able to drive and shoot. He's got that itch for it, but he didn't even know how to frisk properly. Right. And
right. So he applied for shift 2, and myself and Avery and the team, we went and we offered him an interview only to find out that he had just been hired by Shift 1. So Shift 1 had said, hey, if you're around, we'll just hire you. So I think primarily the time that he is around is more into Shift 2. But Shift 1 have picked him up and they're the ones that want to look after him. So it is what it is. I just moved on and I got other cadets.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I think he has potential. It's just he needs time investment.
I know that Maxwell was planning to hand over PNT. I think she was planning to hand it over to Erin and Forte. They did in Academy, but I don't think either of them have fully picked up PNT and taken it, fully in control. So I still think it falls back on Maxwell most of the time. And I think you can't be a captain without having a team of FTOs behind you, if you're going to continue to hold it up.
I agree. Yeah, Forte's been gone, and I know Aaron's had to do detectiving, which is in and of itself huge. And pretty much the majority of PD's court cases.
Well, that's because majority are Shift 1 night. If we're truly to pull the optics here, most of the issues that go to court, Shift 1.
No. Sorry. What I'm trying to say is, like, she's got her hands full. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
She's got her hands full because other people aren't allowed.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, don't you think that other people should be, okay, for example, at the moment, there isn't really any kind of investigative unit. It's kind of loose. We've heard that it's Doc and Aaron. There's been no announcement to say, hey, anybody in any shift, are you interested? Nothing at all. There's been nothing. Like, I know people in Shift 2 that would jump at the chance to get a little training and to do some investigations.
Oh, no.
No.
Wait.
You can't keep calling the same names over and over if they're not giving you the results that you want.
Oh, boy. I swear I'm not T-sipping. I'm
No.
giving a disclaimer of this only because I'm sharing this because I'm aware of it, and this is because I think you need to be aware of it, because I know communication is, I think, our biggest issue right now. I've advocated heavily the last 2 weeks. Where do we have command meetings? Can we have a command meeting, please? Because I think LSPD needs to know, like, what the hell we're doing. Otherwise, like you said, it's word of mouth.
Right.
One of the things that popped up on that topic, holy shit.
Investigations?
Yeah, it was a big, oh yeah. You know the LSI thing? The LSI cocaine? Well, that was completely screwed up investigatively. In the sense,
I don't think anything was done.
Unfortunately, we shot ourselves in the foot. Because what happened was, well, let's just say when we brought everyone down here, everyone just kind of did whatever they wanted to do. Generally, right? Like, someone was sent up, and as a consequence, we lost our ability to really have solid PC. In other words, there was no, like, investigative plan. And so it turned into a bit of a argument where there was like 8 of us in a circle. Like, what are we going to do? We want to investigate. Chief came in and said, hey, we need to go hard on this, because I didn't know the temperature given the circumstances, right? And I don't want to be the one dictating that, right? So he said, go hard. I'm like, I bet. Well, then that means phone subpoena. This might be drug trafficking, et cetera, because we've come in contact with people trying to intercept a plane full of cocaine and a bunch of money flagged by Interpol. This isn't some, bank truck. And in the midst of that, someone sent up a 95. And
Right.
And
Yep.
there was a cadet interrogating ex-lawyer, what's his name, Reggie Might, with gang leader Benji in the same room.
Oh
And none
no.
of the things that were being asked were really relevant because they didn't know what they were going to aim for, right? Because you need to know what you're kind of aiming for before you start asking questions, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of revealing your hand. Well, it turned into a double jeopardy issue, and I
Oh
started to
no.
lose my mind because I was being told, well, actually, it's not double jeopardy because blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because when you write your subpoena, your statement of probable cause is based on evidence that has not been yet ruled on. So the moment you process it, you can't use that evidence. And
Right.
and so it turned into a massive argument until I pulled out the MDT and I read them the double jeopardy thing. And then it turned into one of those, well, over in Montana, we do it this. And I'm just like, bro, like,
Yeah, and Reggie's one of the more intelligent of the
mhm.
gang members. You definitely got to know him. I do remember seeing him in interrogation, but there were so many people involved. Chief, when I got on duty that day, Chief brought me in, said, "This is what we're doing." He said, "These are the people that I've chosen. It's going to be Ventura, Raddick, and Opal." And then D was brought on to run group number 2. And I said, okay, if these are the people that you guys have chosen, then I'll just back you up. I'll just do what needs to be done.
Yep.
And then to have people turn on them, I don't like that. Either help them out, retrain them, give them some advice, or just was, I don't know.
I'm absolutely agreement. The reason I set the basis of that is from that spawned my agitation, mostly from I don't like being handed something like last second. It puts me hugely on it's a lot of pressure, right? Because you're not thinking about, in the same way. Like, I'm not paying attention to certain details, right? And it's investigations. It's a lot of mental, especially something that complicated. But it was more it's not so much that I was being told I was wrong, being told I'm wrong based on bullshit, just made up stuff. So I I brought it up. I was like, do we have, like, when we approach these scenes, there should be like a like, we know this is happening. There should be a TRT lead. That was the first problem. Apparently there was 3 leads. Apparently. But whoever that lead is of the scene, you also have an investigative lead, right? The person who's looking at the scope of what's happening in front of them so they can focus on it. And that's where the discussion of the detective unit got brought up. And as per what was told to me, BCSO has a unit. We're going to have a unit. And it's still being figured out. So
It's being figured out for months.
yeah.
It's been months.
Yeah. So I'm not so much saying it like in a complaining way, but more of this is the latest I've heard on it. So I think it's a soon TM, and apparently it's going to be brought up in the command meeting that Maxwell is going to set up this week, ? So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you know that I was told that lieutenants are not allowed to do investigations?
Why? Well, then that means wait. So then you're not doing traffic stops anymore?
I don't know.
How do you?
So
That's our job, though.
several months back in December, I responded to a 911. I found a body. I had units come and help me. I documented the whole area. From that, a whole string of events opened up to me, of which I documented in full, only to find out that another officer had some previous knowledge of previous things that had happened. I became, I don't want to say close, but, I gave my condolences to this person's gang. I was able to go to the funeral. I was the only officer that was allowed to go to the funeral, even though Carmine showed up. And things were going quite well, only to find out that this other officer, who was a lower rank than me, went and complained and said that I was kind of taking the investigation over, which I wasn't. I was only looking into one portion of this person that, had been killed. And at that time, I was pulled in. I was only a sergeant at that time. I was pulled in front of other sergeants and the
Was
assistant
it
chief.
Snoopy?
No.
Okay.
This officer was upset that I had hurt their feelings, and they had overheard me. They had overheard me say that I felt that they were getting too close because they had been gunned down 3 times in a row. And so in the end, I was told that really command really shouldn't be involved in investigations. Their job is to run the shift.
What dumbass told you that?
High command.
Are they high command still?
Oh, one of them is, yes. So I backed off. I left the whole thing alone. Yeah. Very interesting. And that's why I think it is, if you keep picking the same people for the same jobs and you're getting lesser or the same results, don't you think someone else should be given a chance?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, because like the worst that happens is they fail at it, and first off, there is no failing investigations because it's all about like we learn something from it and we utilize that for the next thing, and that includes losses in court. Because while it might be a not guilty, we may learn like, oh, this is the thing that we need in order to get over the line based on what the judge's opinion is. Oh my God.
I mean, I mean, what, months ago, we obviously in November, we learnt from the Hydra raid, that everything was done incorrectly because we returned everything to Jackie Snow.
Oh, I have no comment. I don't know too much about that one.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I think all I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter what department we want to focus on next internally. We need to open it up and we need to see if there are other people that may have the skills to help out that department. And I'm not saying don't lean on the same old people over and over, but gosh, I would like to see some fresh new blood in some areas.
I think, I agree. I think part of the problem that I'm seeing in shift 1, and I think part of it is just the severe amount of OISs. I feel like we need to slow things down so that we have time to evaluate what the hell just occurred.
Right.
And if we don't, then number one, there's no ability to, in that moment, if there is a situation with an officer or a scene, we can say, hey, this is what happened. Here's how we're going to do it better. So, in the moment feedback. But at the same time, have that ability to say, who do we have here? Let's have you and you do this, right? Because if we do it quick, then it's going to be naturally picking people that are on the tip of your mind, right? I'm sort of already finding that happening to me, and I'm now giving pushback because I mean, you know me for a while, right? I'm opinionated. That's just who I am. But I think it's getting me fucked because now I just get all the shit thrown my way, and I don't have the mental for it.
I think that you'll find how can I say this politely? There are people that are going to get things done once you speak to them, and there are people that are just going to listen, and nothing will be done. And in the end, you have to find the people that are actually going to do something about it. And those people are very far and few to find.
I agree. We have a lot of cosmetic command right now.
And I'm tired of asking. So in the end, I'm sure you've seen on Thursdays at the meetings, I just ask for what I want, and I get people involved to update gang dossiers, to go ahead and find all the, all the bank cards, which they've done. People have done in less than a week, because I'm sick and tired of asking. So
yeah.
You just have to find the people that want to do the work, and they'll do it, and they're fantastic. And I'm tired of asking and not getting from above.
Yeah, I wish. So I will say that yesterday, I was asked to come up to the roof by Reddit to give answer some questions about some things. And I think it was wrong that you were not brought into that conversation, not only as my direct superior, right? Because what if I fucked up? You need to know that, right? Not the chief, not the ass chief. But in addition to that, I'm trying to advocate for this. Is like, I don't see why everyone isn't brought into the circle, including high command, so there is a concerted effort to resolve. Because if it's only 2 people and 3 people, that's not really communication. It's a quarter, because I could walk out of the meeting, Redditch walks out of the meeting, Chief runs out of the meeting, and we'll be like, oh, this is what we're going to do in the future. But then 3/4 of command has no idea, right?
But don't you also think there should be a portion of high command that says, let Shift 2 command work this out? This issue that we're talking about right now doesn't need our effort. This is something that Shift 1 command can work on, or Shift 2 command can work on.
I agree.
Shouldn't they also put their trust in us? Because I feel like over the last couple of weeks, it doesn't matter what happens. It goes directly to high command, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's kind of why I was deflated with the FTO thing. It's like, well, fuck me then. I guess, I said this guy ain't ready, and he's getting promoted anyways. But I will say one defensive point to why yesterday may have occurred is because I think Peters was the subject matter of possibly having been the culprit with the
I think there were a lot of moving parts, and I think a lot of people need to take responsibility of what happened yesterday. Whether it be in regard to the rush of the raid, not letting the BCSO officer know not to send future up. There's multiple things that were not communicated well.
I agree. I think there's a lot of, it's a Jared thing again, right? Happens with Carmine, happens with Bobby, and they do it to themselves, right? I think they know that. But there is this scapegoat syndrome where it's like 20 people are involved. We need to blame someone. We're not at fault. When the reality is, it's like, no, it's a collective failure, right? And it takes all of us to say, where did we collectively go wrong? And
it's very tough to grab a PPO in the middle of an OIS and say, hey, let's go learn how to raid. That's very tough when we needed, if him and Miller were scene lead, then they should have stayed in the cells.
1,000%. 1,000. Yeah, I'm Ruby. You and I see a lot eye to eye. It's crazy. This is exactly it.
Right. You know why? I mean, no. I mean, take it as a compliment, but way back in the day, that's why I wanted to join DPD.
Yeah. Teamwork. Yeah.
And people should be given opportunities. And yes, as you said before, they're going to fail.
Yeah.
But if we've given them the good basics, it won't be a horrific failure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Very true. Well, okay, cool. Is there anything that you want me to focus on in the upcoming week? I'm gonna be here half day tomorrow and then back Thursday, Friday.
Okay. I'm be upfront with you.
Mhm.
I would like to see you kind of chat with at least some of the Shift 2 seniors. That's Pike and Shields.
Yep.
I believe my next 2 upcoming officers are going to be Chaos and Oxby. I believe Oxby is probably the one that is going to be very interested in investigations. Gray as well. And then I believe Chaos he's definitely on the upward path right there.
Those are all amazing
maybe,
officers.
Yeah. Maybe just connect with them. I'm going to be working with PNT this week. We're bringing 2 more cadets on and to kind of fill the gap. I think you already know John Hydra. And the other one is
I am very
Scotty
concerned with
Bard.
Hydra. Oh, Scotty's gonna be a little bit of Hydra background. I think I fired him, and this is a disclaimer. He is extremely needy. He was back in the day, and the moment he applied, he has texted me, I think, 6 times and 311 for people. So this isn't a write-off, just kind of more of a, just kind of beware of his little area he might need some work on.
So I had Gray and Oxby. They did a ride along with him last night. They both said they really enjoyed him. However, they both come from, what can I say? They transferred in. And they said that Hydra is going to have to do the same as they did, which is he needs to forget the past and how things were done and drop some of his opinions and blend in with the team. So I think that Oxby and Gray will be good to help FTO him the first couple of times.
All right. Oh, yeah. Could you send me the list of the officers that touch base with?
Yep, sure can.
All right.
I'll text you.
I have noticed I've got a lot of feedback in the late hours. I've been staying up till tsunami. There has been a feeling of lack of command around that time, so there's been a lot of appreciation recently over that. So much so that I think if it was desired, we could probably poach Jonah.
I've tried.
Right now, it's prime picking.
He loves BCSO.
Well, when's the last time you spoke to him? Because, right now they're holding a potential punishment over his head that he still hasn't been spoken about over something I genuinely believe he was well in the rights to do. The recent command report in regards to him. Now, I'm not about that poach life, but I will say this. That poor man is getting done dirty, as far as I'm concerned. So
the other issue for me is that in Shift 2, there are 4 sergeants. One is MIA. We have not heard from On Fire in probably about 5 or 6 weeks. Avery is part-time. And I would say Bradford, he's on duty a couple of times a week. I have put in a request with High Command to have those positions evaluated and to maybe open up some positions for people that we could look at, but I've heard nothing back yet.
Unknown number. I'm just going to take this real quick. Nino Chavez.
Congratulations. You have been randomly selected out of a pool of police officers to receive some very, very lucrative information. Please press 1 to continue. Great. I can see that you pressed 9. Is that correct?